So what I want to ask is, could you challenge something like that? Like,
I would have to look into it and do a little bit of my homework. I'll be honest with you, I've yet to receive the death certificate, and my father passed February the 4th. So I'm dealing with receiving the death certificate because I want to see exactly what is written on the death certificate. Now, to contest it, is it going to prove anything? Is it going to make any difference? Maybe in my mind it will, because they had done such a good job with the first year that COVID was out. There was no deaths related to COVID.
mm-hmm.
So yes, they were doing something.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing something right.
Do you think that the reason why they were swept with it for the last part of the wave, it was because of being too lenient?
I don't think so, because I don't think they were lenient. Again, I was the only one that I was allowed to go visit him. Nobody else was able to visit, so they were minimizing the amount of people. I think they were still, trying to follow as best they could with protocol to keep it out. But I just think that this Omicron was a little bit inevitable. There's lots of traffic with PSWs, workers, people that come in, the plumber, the person that there's a lot of people that are going to come in. So I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. But at the same time, I'm a little bit disappointed that I know it was something new. Mm-hmm. We learn from our mistakes.
That's right.
But again, I've seen a lot of things that could have been had they opened up the wallet and the purse string a little bit. But when it's for profit, ultimately, I believe in capitalism, but not at the fate and the hands of these people who have worked hard all their life, who have contributed to taxes, who need a little bit of extra help, and people are profiting from their demise. Like I don't agree with that part of it. Sure, profit, you go and you make profit off of other things. I don't disagree with that.
But when it comes to a human being
who's, looking for extra help, extra care. I mean, again, their mission statement, the human contact, human connection. I felt that a lot of times, and you had no choice, the PSWs were working extra hard, putting in all those extra hours. There was no motivation. There was no motivation for you to even sometimes enjoy coming to work. And let's face it, in every industry, in every line of work, there are the beautiful ones that appreciate, that love their job, and they do that extra mile. And then there's the ones that really don't care that much. And unfortunately, the people on the other end who are being cared by these people are paying the consequences. I'm happy to say that that's not the case where my dad was.
Because I wanted to ask you, did your dad ever express like his joy for being in the home? Like, was there good times? I know there were bad times, but
yes,
there were good times.
There were times, and I have pictures to document when he was happy. And my father, the first thing I told them, I said, my father is like a mirror. If you go into the room with that beautiful smile, pre-masks, then my father would invite you. He was a sense of humor.
Always feeded me. That's why I got so fat.
Have some, that's Italians. Mangia, right?
Yeah.
And then if somebody went in there and obviously didn't have a good day, whether they had personal problems, whether they hated their job, it's like little children. They can sense that. And that made a world of difference. My father was angry. He was angry because of what happened to him. His situation. Yeah. And he felt that he didn't belong there. He didn't want to be there. And the fact that he was cognitive of it made it even harder.
For him,
because I can only imagine, you're a grown man having to have, being changed and bathed and everything, and at one point even being fed.
Yeah.
Thank goodness he did regain movement in one arm. But even that, when there's so many residents and so many PSWs, how can you manage to feed all of them at the same time and have their dinner be warm?
Exactly.
You know, my dad didn't like cold food.
No. Warm it. Yeah. So then, and that is something that I would like you to speak to the government on. Like, as a family member with a loved one, once upon a time in long-term care, the things that you saw, even when the army came in, when we just started, and then the army had to take over some homes.
Yes.
Were you even surprised of that happening?
Yes, I was shocked.
You were shocked.
It wasn't where my father was,
No.
but it was an affiliation, the same company, and a different location. I was shocked just to say that you needed like that many people in a pandemic of sorts. So beef it up a little bit. If you know we have a problem, we cannot run this place 100% efficient the way we have in the past. So that means we need to get more hired help, more PSWs,
But the
more
thing
cleaners.
is, and I don't mean to cut you off, before the pandemic, there was a crisis in the profession already. There were PSWs PSWs were leaving the job already. There were people who didn't even want to hear about this profession. And this is why I oftentimes say that this profession is not for the faint at heart.
No.
You have to have a good heart, a caring, compassionate, patient, and you can't be in it for the money because it's not there. So if you're not any of these things, this job is not for you. So with the government saying that, oh, we're training a lot of people, a lot of this and that and whatnot, what do you think? Are they going to stay? Do you think they're going to stay, judging from what you've seen and the intensity and how much the need is for one's mental capacity, for your physical, for your heart, your emotional part attached to this job? How many people do you think can really do this job with the money that they make?
Right, when they go in there and they see what's involved.
Exactly.
There's a lot involved. We're not talking about caring for an 8-month-old child that is small. You know, turn them over, change their diaper, away you go. You're dealing with so many different ailments, adults, different behaviors, which, you know, you've seen, I've seen, the different behaviors. The abuse that I've seen that you PSWs get from some of the individuals that are in these places. Mental illness, whatever the case may be, it's not enough, and that demotivates you.
Yes.
You know, like if they would open the pocket purse a little bit and maybe add another PSW so you're not stressing out, looking for another person. Excuse me, I need some help to help me. I have to change Antonio. I need some help over here. Like, it shouldn't be that way. That means that there's not enough people that are helping these residents.
So and you know, the employers, they're always crying poverty, but when you hear about the shareholders who are making, the CEOs who are making how much millions, even over the COVID period, how much money, millions of dollars,
it breaks my
when
heart.
we were crying for masks and we were crying for just put a little bit more help. And the thing is, it doesn't even make sense you put any help, because if you're gonna bring someone on the floor or to help that doesn't even know how to change a incontinent product, that doesn't know how to lift and transfer a resident, that doesn't know how to feed or assist a resident with eating, what is the point?
Exactly. I was there for a long time, and you know that I assisted in all of those areas, and to a certain extent I knew more than some of the PSL.
Even you can see that you can tell when it's a person who is not knowledgeable of the profession, because number one, you see the approach, and right away you sum it up and you're like,
common sense a lot of times is hard to find.
It's not so common.
You know, and that's the thing. And if you're, like you said, if you're doing the job just because it's a job and just for the pay, then you should be working on the factory line where you don't have to connect with people.
Correct.
One of the things that my father did have a hard time with was the night shift. Was the shift like from 11 to 7, where I think the mentality is, oh, I can work the night shift because they're only sleeping, so I don't have to do a lot. And there they cut back. There was only 2 for 30 residents. Correct me if
32.
correct me if I'm wrong. 2 of them for,
32,
but you know,
yeah.
not everybody sleeps at night. People have night
Yeah.
terrors. They get up. They need to be changed. They may be a little bit peckish. They want to eat something. But I think in that case, there was a mentality where some of them thought, no, 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 you should be sleeping. You know, and that's where there was a lot of frustration that came
So
out.
like now you're, you know, and I do my condolences and everything, because your father was my resident, and even I couldn't believe that he's gone. But now that you don't have to go in to the facility anymore, is there anything, any words of encouragement or anything you would like to tell other family members who might be facing or you know, facing the possibility of a loved one entering into the facility? Would you say, is there anything you can say to them, where do your research, or like what would you say?
Well, first of all, the first thing I would say is, if you're a family member and you have a family member in there and you go to visit, I know that I was a very hands-on person. I did it because I felt I wanted to do it. And I also felt that that I'm there to also help you. You're helping my loved one, but I want to help you. I want to make it a little, when I'm there, I want to make it a little bit easier for you. I don't expect to sit back, cross my arms and say, yes, my father needs to be changed. It's dirty here. Can you feed him? I don't like, and I've seen that with some family members. And I feel very bad when I see that, because if anything, we should worship and kiss like, you know, thank you.
Yeah,
It is your
together.
job.
Yeah.
It is your job, but work together, and also, you know, help you because you're helping my resident. Don't sit back and cross your arms and say, it's your job, not my job. It's your loved one. You're there to help me with my loved one.
I can honestly tell you that you are greatly missed. And that I'm not even trying to sugarcoat you or anything, because you know I don't do that. You know that, but you are greatly missed, and your dad is greatly missed.
Because you were part of his family.
Yes.
You were all the
Yes.
nurses, the PSWs.
Yes.
It was a family. He was there for over 5 years. You know, I think although ultimately everybody would like to be compensated financially for what they do, I think that's an important part of it, but it's not everything. I think appreciation, you need to be appreciated more, and we're talking from the people who pay your who pay your paycheck. There needs to be a little bit more motivation, whether it's some type of rah-rah, sis boom bye, you guys are doing a great job. You know, here's a little pat on the shoulder. Here's a little whatever gift certificate, or we're gonna have a little party. I know during COVID, a lot of those things were totally out of
wasn't
topic.
allowed. Yeah.
But I think that the people who are running the whole organization need to show better appreciation for what you do, be it in compensating you financially, or just altogether motivating you more, getting down and rolling up the sleeves. I did see through COVID some of the hierarchy that usually are not doing that. They had to roll up their sleeves, but it shouldn't take a pandemic to do that.
Exactly.
It shouldn't take a pandemic to do that.
Exactly.
That should be all the time.
I just want to say that as for me, I love my union in the sense that, and when I say my union, I'm talking about my union, the people who represent me, the people who are there to make sure that my employer treat me as fairly as possibly, even though that goes without saying. It's not even, you don't really get that, but the fact that because of who I am a marginalized, racialized woman. I'm black. We can see that. And I have a big mouth. I stand up for what I believe in. I advocate for my peers and I advocate for my residents. God knows I advocate for my residents. And a lot of times my employer or people will not like the things that I say because it's not what they want to hear. So for somebody like me who have a big mouth, may have a target on my back by my employer, you know, and I'm happy that I have the union where if shit like that should, I mean, if stuff like that should go down and it's not just cause, I know that they're there to stick up for me. And I thank God for the union because without the union, when COVID came into existence also, and they wanted us to look after people with residents with COVID without added protection like the N95, I had to pull out the new directives that the union went to court and win. So I really do appreciate my union. And you as a teacher, I know you have your teachers union also. I don't know how much, I don't really follow up, but I know that you guys are really fighting tooth and nail because the same things that we are fighting and going through, I know that it's the same thing that you are fighting and going through. So at the end of the day, I look at the government and I say to you, Patricia, what is it that you would like to tell Mr. Ford?
Well, like you said earlier, and in terms of a teacher, I'm actually an early childhood educator who works partnership with a teacher. So I see myself on the same level as you, as a PSW, and the nurses above you, and the teachers. So we're basically in the same.
Yeah.
I don't do it for the money.
No.
Because the money is not I'm not on the sunshine list. I'm not on the sunshine list. I don't do it for the money. I do it for the love of my children.
And this government, come June 2nd, you're voting, aren't you?
I'd like to. I think it's important.
Not you're like, that you'd like to. You are going to vote.
I am going to vote.
Yes. And what is it that you'd like to tell Mr. Ford? In terms of what you've gone through at long-term care, with your father, what would you like to say to him?
I would like to say that he has to open up his eyes.
Right there and tell him.
Open up his mind and go and see. And see what's going on. I'm sure that there's lots of reports out there that you have seen that this is a cry. There is some justice that needs to be served in this particular field. And again, yes, you may have your in-law in a place that may be, I don't know if it's profit or for profit or whatever the case may be. But I think we need to open up our eyes and realize that there's a lot of changes that need to be made. And these people who are parents or grandparents need to be looked after, as well as the people, most importantly, who are looking after them need to be looked after. And it's not happening, and it needs to happen.
But the thing is, what I find is that he fails to realize that as every day goes by, you're getting older. Pray to God that you make the system better before you end up in one of these beds. But then again, you have all the money in the world, right? So who says you're going to end up in one of those beds? Anyways, I do want to thank you, Patricia, for coming by. It's been my delight. And I hope my viewers enjoy our little talk. And I just want to say, don't forget to comment and subscribe, guys. Thumbs up my video. I'm trying to reach a broader audience, and this will help me a lot. And I'm gonna say, share this video, guys, to your mama, papa, auntie, sister, uncle, cousin, brother, and even your enemies, them. And until next time, it's me and Patricia saying peace.
Thank you.